Alright guys, so I just recorded this whole video and, well, my audio did not get recorded. So, I'm just gonna simplify this video. So for the last few months, I've been trying to take this, I guess you can call it a rule of art, and I've been really trying to apply it to my work. And what rule is that, right? The rule I like to think of it as is treating your canvas like an eyeball. Well, how does that even work, right? Well, take a look at something around you. Anything. Look at your wall, right? And try to focus on the things around it, off to the sides, right? Without looking away. You know, your peripherals, you can't, right? That's because our eyes are designed to take in only so much information at a time. And I believe that if we incorporate that into our paintings, then you'll probably have a far better piece. And I'm sure you've heard of creating a focal point, right? Well, that's part of it, but you may be only thinking in ways of contrast, whether that's like color or shape or value. What if I told you that my method would not only make you faster at painting, but will also make your paintings far more appealing? That method is paint stroke efficiency. If you really want to learn from the best, well, the two best at paint stroke efficiency that I have found is Pluvium and Ilya Kuvshinov. These guys, at least for me and the style that I go for, these guys have the best bang for their buck when it comes to paint stroke efficiency. And I think anybody can learn from these guys. They're the best. They're the best at it. You know, I always wondered how they knocked out these paintings in an hour or two, right? And it's just all about deciding which portions of your painting to put more or less detail into. And I think I've got much better at that myself. I'm gonna show some examples here. All right, really quickly, because I already did all this. Oh my god. So first up was this one. I just did this yesterday. You know, I'm quite proud of this because I did this in less than an hour. I think it was like 50 something minutes. Anyways, in the parts, obviously, what do you look at first, right? It's probably his eyes. Probably his eyes and his mouth. Well, that's when I decide to go super simple on the hair, especially the hair that's away from the camera, right? You have to think about it 3D, right? Anything that's hitting the light, I'm obviously going to put a little bit more detail into. Look back here. It's just super simple strokes. And then I chose like a hard edge brush with like opacity on. And then I just went super simple, just deciding to put in some form, and that's it. And then you come to the eyes, and I had that energy stored or saved. Oh my god, I made so many good points in the last one. I can't remember. Yeah, I put more effort into the eyes. Even the nose is not that detailed, but the mouth, I put a little bit more time to, you know, define the form and the values, and just a little bit in the ear. That's all. Even the neck is super simplified. Look, it's just like one stroke, right? And then gradientized. And let me make sure my audio is recording. Okay. Yeah, it's just super simple. Like a few values here and there. It's really rough. It's not rough. It's defined enough. And I'll show you more with actually good, like, professional artists, because I'm not a professional. But yeah, let me try to find another painting. Like, even with landscapes, right? I remember on this one, I was really trying to focus on just paint stroke efficiency. I was using simple brushes. You can see it's not that great. Like, this just looks plastered on. I'm not a professional, right? But I had enough energy to, by saving my time, just simplifying, even the background. Look at the background. It's just jagged, like one or two values here. There's super big, broad brush strokes in the sky. And then that saved all the time for my focal point here. So I can focus on the form and the scales and the texture and the contrast. And I actually had so much time to focus on, okay, this needs to be contrasted compared to that. That needs to be contrasted compared to that. That needs to be contrasted. All of that was, I could do a lot better when I had more time to focus on it. And I'll show you examples of how these pro artists do that. Like this, it's just really broad brush strokes for the hair. And even the cheekbones, it's not like super defined. The nose, look, it's super simplified. Just one or two values. And then I just put a bit more detail into the hair strand, because this, I wanted to be a focal point. Your eye should glide down that. And then his eye, right? That's the other part that I wanted the most detail into. Super simplified. This is super simplified. Just a hard brush. That's all. This is all hard brush, I'm pretty sure, with opacity. Even the bandana is not that rendered. It's not really rendered at all. But even if you don't have a realistic style, right, you can still do this. I tried not imitating, but I was trying to learn from Spec. He's a really great artist. I'll show him. But yeah, you can see in the eyes, that has the most detail. In the mouth, right? I have a shadow and then a darker shadow and then highlights and whatnot, and that's just in the mouth, right? And here I have multiple values for the planes, and then that's pretty much it. It's super simplified elsewhere. Look at the jacket, 1, 2 values, maybe just a little darker line, but that's just Spec stuff. I was learning from Spec. I'm not going detailed into the hoodie here, right? This is all one value shape. All of that's one value shape. It can even come down here, but that's gradientized, so it's hard to tell. This is all one value shape. I'm not outlining that. I'm not going darker back behind behind the hoodie. Maybe that would help, but I didn't feel like it even needed it, right? Because I wanted the focal point to be here. So sketch, that's not really helpful. But yeah, look, even in the sketches, I have a time lapse here of my sketch, and I'll show you that even in sketches you can apply this, right? Here I'm just giving broad shapes, just super broad shapes, not detailing anything really. And you can see I double back, triple back on the face. I'm just trying to get that. I even had gradients. Into my sketch and a little value into my ear. That's because I wanted it to read really good as a simple sketch. And that saved me the most time. I was able to simplify everything else. Look at the jacket, super simplified, and it gave me time to focus on the important parts of the sketch, right? And yeah, okay, let me just go to some professionals. First up, I'll talk about I talked about so many things. I don't feel like talking about all that again. Look, super simple. This probably didn't even take him an hour, probably not even 50 minutes. I would say 40 minutes. This guy's really good. I don't know. This is one of his less rendered, right? But it's just so good because then he renders what he needs to, because it looks rendered, but you look at all the edges, it's super soft. Nothing's hard. Like, obviously he has hard edges, but it's not like clean. It's not a super clean painting is what I'm trying to say, but he doesn't need to do that. Like, even in here, like, oh yeah, super simplified in the mouth, or not super simplified, the most rendered in the mouth, his little eye patch here and the iris, right? You come down, look, broad brush strokes in the glove, come down here, super broad, just trying to get the idea of, you know, a neck strap or whatever this is. Look at the metal buckle on the strap here as well. It's not even like a fully, you know, hard brushed, it's not hard brushed in, it's just emphasized, right? That's what's important. That leaves him time. This is what I was talking about earlier. It leaves him time to focus on color and value and composition a lot more. Detail should be the very last thing you should even focus on. That should come after you've got every other thing on your canvas, in my opinion. Look, this is super good. He renders it so that you know what's going on and your eye is drawn here, right? And then look at the brush strokes of the hair. Super simple. He's got like a rake brush or something, some hairbrush, I don't know. I think it's just lines, right? And he gives an idea of what's going on, and that's super important. And then you look into the nose, and even the mouth is not that rendered, but I think this was what he was obviously going to emphasize the most. So this is the most rendered. It's not even that like clean lines, right? But that's what the focus point is. I'm not saying you have to paint super realistically. I'm just saying you have to paint more detail into your focal point than not, right? So it could be any level of realism, it'll still work, right? Look, even this, dude. Oh, he has a reel here. I wonder if he touches on my point. I don't know. I don't really watch his reels too much. Instant replay. Okay. So good. Progress the painting evenly. This is what I'm talking about. Look, broad brush strokes. He's not doing no detail first. This is not even that detailed, but he's really good at value, so he can obviously do this while he's building up his painting. Work big to small. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to emphasize in this video that I don't hear often is where to emphasize your big to small. Big should probably stay on like out here, right? You don't need to go small back here. Obviously it'll help, but you don't have to define, you don't have to go crazy on the values. You don't have to go realistic everywhere. Okay, anyways, does he have any other illustrations I'd like to talk about? Let me try to touch on, oh my gosh, like look at this. You can see it's not fully defined down here, but that's not the emphasis, right? You come up here, it's super rendered. It's not super rendered, but it's more rendered than down here or up here, right? Look at these edges. He also just has really good edge control. This is so good. His paint stroke efficiency and just line work, or not line work, just paint work, I guess. I don't know. It's just so good. Yeah, even here, man. Look, the emphasis is on the ear. Obviously, some of the hair around the ear, and then this earring thing. Even the earring is not that detailed. Look, it's not hard edges. It's not nothing. It's just more detailed than other things like this, like the whatever this garment is. I don't know. This is not that detailed. Even the cheek or the jawline here, it's not that defined. It's just it's good enough, right? That's what matters, and that's my point. All right, I think I should take a look at another artist. This is so good as well. Oh my goodness. Okay, I need to stop. Other artist. We'll talk about Ilya Kuchinov. His stuff. This is my favorite artist, so that's more of what I was going for. This is what the fuck am I saying? Let me go to his art station because I want to talk about some paintings that I already talked about. Of course, so annoying. Dude, okay, I didn't talk about this one, but this is also really good. Super simplified, but it gets the point across that this is clothing. This obviously, I think he has to render this for this is part of his work, so this one has to be a little bit more detailed. But it's just so good. Super simplified in areas that need to be simplified, and then you come to the focal points right here. The face, the shirt. I think I think that's like he just put that on, but and then the hands, right? This is the focal point, and it's really rendered. And you come down here, it's just super simple, just gradient, hard edge. Obviously you need good edge control, so soft edge, hard edge, but it's not super rendered, right? He's not putting that much detail, and it saves him time to focus on the things that matters. That's what's important. This painting is the one I talked about probably the most, but I don't feel like doing all that again. Look, super simple. The focal point is in the eyes and the ears and the mouth. That's it. This little shape is what you're looking at the most. Obviously your eye can drift down here, but that's because of contrast. Look at his hair shape. It's super simple, but on the edges it's detailed, which is what matters. And you come into the hair, it's not really anything, actually. It's just one other value. You get two values here, and he's just super simply just he's stroking it, man. He's that's what he's doing, dude. He's just so good at that. But yeah, okay, anyways, you come to the focal point, and there's so many values here, you probably can't even notice until you actually focus. I've probably looked at this so many times and tried to just focus on all the value changes just to understand, but he's so good with the human form. So obviously this is light work for him, but this is so good. It's just so detailed in the parts that matter. But it's not so detailed that it's realistic, right? Even in the ear, this is even simplified in a way. It's just a hard edge with opacity, right? And yeah, look, even here, you can see the brush. You can see the brush right here. He comes up with the brush and he probably taps it, maybe accidentally, I don't know, probably not accidentally. And yeah, it's just super simple. He's not trying to render or gradientize everything. Look in the jacket, it's just white, and then you have a hard edge with opacity. Just, that's it. Come down here, he gradientizes some of this stuff right here. Gradient. It's super hard to see the gradients unless you're actually looking. There's another gradient here. There's gradients down here, but that's what I mean. You need something. You need simplification on a level of I can't even explain it. I hope you guys get what I mean. This is hard to explain, but this is something I've noticed that just levels up my paintings. I went from like, let me try to show what's like the oldest stuff I got. This stuff. What's like a rendered face? This is, I guess, a rendered face, but I didn't put that much detail into the things that actually matter. Look at the eyes. It's so undefined, right? This is what, 2 years ago. I was just drawing stuff. I was trying to be like them, but I didn't know what I was doing, right? And it's super blurry, not in a good way. And you go back to my most recent, and I'm focusing on the things that matter, right? But then simplifying the parts that aren't as important, right? Did I talk about this already? I think I did. Simplifying the hair back here. Simplifying, look at the shirt. It's just a shirt. And then I used a darker color or darker value, and then just hard edge opacity, the outline of the shirt, or not the outline, the things that matter, right? The things that matter enough, right? I'm not going crazy with the detail. I'm just doing what's enough, and that's all. All right, I think that's all I have to say about this video, man. Just treat your eye like what? Treat your canvas like an eyeball. That's what I'm trying to go for. And yeah, go and follow me on Instagram. Actually, why not shout me out? Hopefully this video blows up. What else can I shout out? Well, you already got my YouTube, so I don't know why I'm trying to shout that out. I have a TikTok. I do not care. Yeah, I have a TikTok. Go look at my stuff, you guys. Oh yeah, here's the process, actually. I could show you guys. So I just block it in, right? This is I didn't even mean to show this, but yeah, I block it in, right? And then I just work it up. I work it up simply. I just go for the parts that actually matter. I'm focusing right here for the most part. I put some stuff down here. Look, I put two values, 1, 2, and then obviously some more saturated stuff for the stuff that's in the light. And then I render the eyes a bit more. Oh, you can see I did the shirt here. I already had a shirt, but it wasn't that great, so I just painted over top. Look, I just put down a flat color and then the second value. Obviously, I gradientized it, but that's just because of the camera. I wanted to make it. You obviously want a gradient away from the light source. That's all. And then you can see I'm putting more detail into the eyes. Look, that's all. Super simple on the hair. Let me try to go back to the hair. Yeah, here's where I rendered the hair. Oh, let me not go to that far. Stop. Look, so far I have 2 values. It won't let me pause. Here, I have 3 values. And then I add 1 more. Oh, here it is. I already started. And then I just do that again. Put some more lines. It's super simple. That probably took me like, I think 5 minutes. Less. It probably took me less. Charlie took me like 2 minutes, I think, at the least, I would say. Just to render this. At least this. And then I obviously render it a bit more. All I added was these little lines. That's all. And that's all. It's just super simple. But I think anybody can learn from that. And yeah, that's all. Alright, I'm done talking. Goodbye, guys.